Welcome back to Morning Express. It's time for our second half of conversations, and we're looking at the 2 years of Renewed Hope agenda, particularly with commissionings of key FCT projects. Now, joining us on the program this morning is Mr. Zaka Nehemiah, a community development expert and strategist. Good morning to you.
Good morning, sir.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Now, it's of essence to note that the projects that have been lined up for commissioning would span 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We'll look at a number of them, but particularly the Abuja International Conference Center is one that has evoked a lot of reactions. The FCT minister had been very critical about how much had been budgeted, the quality of materials being used, and the pace of work. Particularly now looking at it as being one of the day one commissioning projects. What do you make of it?
The Honorable Minister and entire FCT administration have slated tomorrow being 12th to start commissioning.
No, 10th, June 10th.
Yes, June 10th to start commissioning of projects, starting with Abuja International Conference Center. The issue of Abuja International Conference Center, you will agree with me and even the Honorable Minister that the cost of renovation is a bit high, yes, looking at the quality of work that is being done, and the contractor handling the project is not just anyhow contractor, it's a renowned contractor, which is Julius Berger. You know, the cost of maintenance and sometimes rebuilding the new one, they go in hand to hand. Since the inception of FCT, the Abuja International Conference Center is one of the buildings that comes along with it. And since then, there have not been any proper maintenance to that facility. And looking at Abuja is supposed to have a world-class international conference center, and I think that is where the minister's intention is, to have a conference center that can compete with other international conference centers across the world. If you have been there before now, you agree with him that this international conference center need maintenance, not just maintenance. It's as if it's been overhauled so that the new one can be rebuilt. So the quality of work being done there is equates the budget allocations to that effect.
Now, the conference center would be characterized as one of the projects that would speak to quite the elite, especially when you look at the level of conferences that are projected to be held there. Amongst other projects to be commissioned is one I feel it should be of utmost importance as well. And it's talking about the Greater Abuja Water Supply Network. Loops 1, 2, 5, and 6 are on bill to be commissioned as well.
Yeah.
The issue of water within the FCT has been quite disheartening to say. What do you make about it? You know, a lot of blame had been on the water board, but now we have the Greater Abuja Water Supply Network. Do you think this would add to the effort that should have been on ground? What would this do for the people of Abuja?
The issue of water supply to Abuja, you know, before now, the water supply has only been to city center. The area councils have not benefited to Abuja water system, especially the community that surround the Usman Lower Dam. What the minister is doing currently is as if he's trying to bring out a new system that we incorporate every person, not just the city center. And if you look at lot 1, lot 2, lot 3 to lot 4, one has to do with Wagwalada Kwali, one has to do with the Lokogoma Gens Village to Galadima axis, the other has to do with Kubwa and Duse axis, and the other one has to do with Asokoro, Guzape axis. You know, before now, it is only city center and some part of Gariki that has benefited to Abuja Water Board water supply system. So with what the minister has done, last year he commissioned a lot of projects and it has been stage by stage. Now he's focusing on water and other critical infrastructure. So commissioning all these projects, it's worth it.
Now, let's also talk about bus terminals. Abuja has been over time, characterized as a town where there's a lot of along practice. I say along in quotes, with respect to the fact that certain bus terminals and motor parks are not respected. But on the agenda for projects to be commissioned, there is the Mabuchi bus terminal, the Kubo bus terminal as well. Do you think that this will help in reshaping the approach of commuters and transporters in the FCT with focus to the use of terminals?
Before now, I have advocated for an organized transportation system because a city like Abuja has not an organized transportation system. So with the commissioning of these 3 bus terminals, which has to do with Kubo, city center, and that of Mabushi, I think it's long overdue. Because over time, like last year, last 2 years, there have been an issue of one-chance drivers. You close from work, you just stand by the roadside, any cars coming along can pick you. But with the organized transportation system, the security issues and other vices will be reduced. Because people coming from Maraba, Nyanya, Karu axis, we have a place that where you can wake up to 7 a.m. you walk to bus terminal, the bus from there convey you to town. The same thing to people who are staying around the Mabushi axis. If you are closing from work, you can easily from Wuse, Central Area, Secretariat, Bega, you can easily go to Mabushi bus terminal. It takes you to Buari, Kubwa, and Zuba, and other axes. While the city center, people who work as federal secretariats, who work around city center, can easily walk to a city center bus terminal. Wherever you're going, you have a designated place where you can book your cab and go to wherever place you want to go. Unlike before now, where you have a disorganized transport, people go to area 1, where when you are in area 1, who 90% of people who are there are Agboros, they are not under union. You go to Bega, the same system is Agboros that are there, one chance drivers, and so on and so forth. So with what the minister has been overhauling the transportation system, reorganizing it, I think it's the best way to go for a city like Abuja.
Now, it's important to note that there's also supposed to be the flag off of the design and construction for a new INEC headquarters in Abuja. I don't know, speaking to critical infrastructure that we need, how monumental is this in terms of a new headquarters for an independent National Electoral Commission?
You agreed with the honorable ministers or the government for trying to rebuild the National INEC headquarters. If you have been in Maitama, looking at an agency like a national INEC, need a better space. Because where they stay in Maitama, you look at that facility does not have a parking space. 90% of cars are parked outside. And it causes nuisance, it causes security issues. A lot of cars are being stolen on daily basis because that place, it is not organized. So looking at Abuja, Abuja is a city that needs to be organized, that needs for a city that should be sanitized. When you drive past the INET headquarters, in fact, in the afternoon, you will struggle to pass on that one-way road because it is one way and the road is so narrow. So aside the few directors that are able to park their car inside, 90% of the staff don't have a space to park their car inside the national INEC headquarters. So I will agree with the honorable minister that that place, that building, need a new one and a better place.
Now, it's important to note that in 2 weeks where projects will be commissioned spanning over 17 days. A majority of those projects are roads, interconnecting roads, connecting not beyond the central city area, but even suburbs and other adjoining district areas. It brings to question how much of a milestone this is, because we've had other FCT ministers. And I beg to be corrected if we've had this massive marathon of project commissionings up until he became FCT minister. How much of a credit does this go to the president for appointing him?
I will commend Mr. President. If there is one appointment he got right, is that of FCT Minister Barrister Nyesom Wike. If you are assessing for the past 2 years that he has been in government as Honorable Minister of FCT, well, I said 1 year plus, he has performed excellently well. Just like you have said, the road projects are not just in city center. The project cuts across even the Cis Area Council, the satellite towns, and other remote area. Starting with the projects that I do for commissioning, this Nikon Junction. That Nikon Junction has been a road that was abandoned for like 20-something years ago, because it's a connecting road from Nikon Junction to Gishiri, from Gishiri to Jai to Gwarimpa. But that road was abandoned for many years. So this opened up the Jai, the Gishiri to Gwarimpa. So it is an easy way that if you are not connecting through Kubwa Expressway, you can easily connect from Metama down to Jai, to Katampe, to Gwarimpa, and it will reduce the traffic of the city center, especially if you drive along Barnes Ministers Road in the evening. You will see a gate lock in the evening. People that are going back home, people that stay in Buari, people that stay in Gwarimpa, people that stay in Kubwa, people that stay in Zuba, people that stay in Suleja. That is the only way out. So there are other projects. That road will link you to Katampe. There is another bridge that is also due for commissioning from Katampe to Katampe Extension that leads through Kubwa Expressway. This road also connects you back to town through this Kado Estate Road. There is another flyover that is being due for commissioning. From there, it links you to Jabi Park. From Jabi Park to where the new bridge that was commissioned last year. You can see that all these roads are linked together, and they have created an economic hub. These areas before now were not open. If you have been to Katampe through Kado Jai, you will see that that road was abandoned for years. A lot of economic activity were still, but currently I drive down that place last week. You will see that a lot of places has opened up. A lot of road construction, a lot of houses construction, offices, private enterprises are being opened. So 90% of all these projects are for economic activities, which is a plus to FCT administration.
Now, talking about economic activities, yes, there's the saying that transportation is the nerve of commerce. Talking about the impacts to be felt, how do you project this impact being felt? Would you say that over the last 2 years, there's been considerable improvements in economic activities?
Yes, there have been an increment in economic activities. Just like the issue of the Cis Area Council, you agree with me that the food hub of Abuja now has to do with the Cis Area Council, not the city center, because there is no longer a space in the city for farm activities. So whatever thing that is being done is at the area council level. So opening up all these places, all this road, has increased the economic activities of all this area council that has now transformed to the city center. Because moving goods from Buari, it has become so easy, unlike before. If you have been to Buari before, you will agree with me that that road needed renovation. But currently, which is also due for commissioning, the road has been rehabilitated, just like that of Nyanya Karu to Karishi has also been rehabilitated. So this has aided the easy way of transportation of goods to the city center.
Now, let's also look at some of the other adjoining commissionings that are supposed to be done. There is the Aguna Palace, Radio Nigeria, New Market Road, and Gwagwalada Area Council. Talking about some of the challenges as it concerns transportations and the gridlocks you talked about in decongesting the current traffic on the most used roads. How do you see these projects in terms of the maintenance required? It's one thing to commission roads and subsequently provide for maintenance.
Well, if you have been to Gwagwalada, if there is any busy road, it is that road that has to lead through the market, from market to Aguma Palace. It is one of the busiest roads in Gwagwalada because it connects the market and it connects the town, which is the Gwagwalada town itself. Last year, a lot of cars could not move past through that market road. And if a lot of road aside maybe SUV and other bigger cars, then how were you expected that people should move their goods to the market? You understand? So what the Honorable Minister have done has not just look at this road, let's just construct road. What he has done is having feedback from the community. Which road is more important to your people at that community level, that we act activities that have to do economic activities. It's the same thing with Buari. If you're in Buari, you pass through Ushapa Road, a road that leads through Ushapa Town, the road that leads through Ushapa Odd Road to Army War Quarters, War College Quarters. You see that these are economic road that has to do with economic activities. So this Gwagwalada road that is due for commissioning has long been overdue. The issue of maintenance, what we have had before now, it was the issue of quality. But if you agree with me that the current road infrastructure that has been done in FCT are of high quality, unlike the one done in the past.
Now, normally people say when you applaud someone for doing well, you also have to note that the reward for good work is more work. In all the projects commissioned, we must highlight that it is commendable work, but more can be done, particularly in the area of rail transport.
Yeah.
The Abuja rail transportation has largely been a concern in terms of when would it be ready for use and how important it would be in the transport network needed for particularly across city centers and council areas. Let's get your assessment of where the current FCT administration is in terms of delivering on the rail transport.
The issue of rail transport, we said, is long overdue because the last administration focused 90% on the rail construction. If you look at from Edu
rail
station to this close to National Stadium and close to World Trade Center, as of last year or last 2 years, no, last year, there were roads that were commissioned there because those are roads that leads to that are due for convening people to those rail stations. And there was a pronouncement by Mr. President then that whosoever, when after commissioning, that that rail should be used for 3 months for free. People who wants to go to airport, people who wants to go to Edu before they can go to Kaduna. The current minister, I think he has not prioritized the rail transport in Abuja, because if he has done that, by now the rail transportation system should have been in use. So last administration at least were able to complete up to 90%, but this administration, even at the federal level, has not prioritized rail transportation system. So I wouldn't say maybe it has to do with the FCT minister. I would say maybe the federal government itself, even from Mr. President, does not have interest at the rail system for now.
Are you hopeful that before the end of the first term of Mr. President's, time is fast approaching, the next election is 2027, do you foresee that being a priority? The current budget has been approved, 1.73 million. 80% of that budget, according to the FCT minister, is supposed to be used for capital infrastructure. Do you see rail being factored in there at any point?
I have gone through the budget. The road, the rail transportation is not captured. It's not captured.
So this might be a second term.
There might be a second time, because even at the federal level, what we are expected, even at the Federal Ministry of Transport, that the rail system maybe from Abuja to Kogi should be connected, from Abuja to maybe Lafia should also be connected, because they are cities that are close to FCT. If you have connected FCT to Kaduna, from Kaduna it's also be connected to Kano, and it will have been an easy. So the only place closer which is Lokoja and Lafia, which is Nasarawa, because from Lokoja there is already a rail transportation system to Delta, to Bayelsa, and some part of the south. But even at the national budget, I think they are not captured.
Now, in closing, many talk about this commissioning spanning into Thursday, Democracy Day. And if we look at democracy in terms of the delivery of dividends of good governance to the people, how elated should residents of Abuja and the 6 area councils be about this project commissioning?
Well, I am not a spokesman of the entire Abuja people, but you will agree with me that the entire Abuja is so happy with what has been done in the last 2 years. If you have been to Kabusa, to Takushara before now, you will agree with me that the people of Takushara are so grateful to Mr. President and to FCT Minister. Then if you have been to Takushara to Keti or Kabusa to Keti, these are remote villages that have to do with indigenous people. You will agree with me that those people are so happy. If you have been to Ushafa, if you have been from Duse to Buari, from Duse to Ushafa, you agree with me that the people of Buari Area Council are so happy.
It's also worthy of note, speaking to the image on screen, during one of his on-the-spot assessments, he ran into school children, and conversations on some of the strike actions that have seen children out of school. For those who met the FCT minister, a lot of them were quite elated, a lot of them grabbing him and trying to get a feel of him in person. He looks like a very stern person, listening to him or even looking at his interactions. It's nice to see this human side of him with kids all rallying around him.
Yeah, right now there is an excitement in Abuja. It is not just about road network about 60 or thereabout school has been renovated, not just at the city center, even at the area council level. Let me tell you, there is an approval which is ongoing, building of youth sports center somewhere in Dape area, and it costs about 9 point something billion. There is innovation ongoing at Nyanya Youth Center that is ongoing, and there is also an approval of building a permanent NYC orientation camp in Kwali. So you can see that these are things directly affecting our people. So what do you expect?
Well, I must thank you, Mr. Zaka Nehemiah, for taking our time. Although you say you're not the spokesperson, you've spoken like one that is in touch with the community as a community expert and strategist that you are. We appreciate you.
Thank
Congratulations
you.
as well.
Yeah, thank you.